Hello and welcome back to the Naked Expat channel. As a keen fitness and gym goer, I posted a video not so long ago about budget protein shakes, because one thing that really annoys me is the absolute rip-off that these manufacturers charge for, which is basically a bag full of chemicals. Not only are a lot of the protein shakes not particularly good for you with all of the added fillers, flavor enhancers, artificial sugars, but also they're extremely expensive, and generally the vast majority of people prefer the whole foods route. But of course, convenience is a wonderful thing, and a lot of people will grab a protein shake because they say, oh, I'm in a hurry, you know, and I haven't got time, you know, to make protein shakes. If you can afford protein shakes, then that's all well and good. Use them, but be very, very careful. The vast majority of protein powders, unless they are at the high end and very expensive, and certainly extremely expensive in places like Asia, Thailand, Philippines, where there's a lot of import tax, you're going to be putting a lot of chemicals into your body that you may not be aware of. So you got to ask yourself the question, well, why am I keeping fit? Why am I going to the gym? Is it just to lose weight? Is it to maintain a healthy lifestyle? Is it to build muscle and to look good and feel good about yourself? Whatever it is, you probably don't want to be in a situation where you're putting crap into your body. And a lot of these protein powders are just full of absolute crap and not very particularly high quality protein anyway. In my previous video, I talked about basically number one protein on the planet is an egg, and it's absolutely wonderful. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a few more options on how to make protein shakes. Everybody's different. You may want a protein shake that is thicker, smoother. You may want a protein shake which is more akin to something that you can buy in a bag. A lot of these protein shakes have fillers, emulsifiers, and blends that help thicken and give the impression of good quality. But basically it's like cement or cemento. It's not doing any good for you whatsoever. If you want to thicken a protein shake at home, put a banana in it. If you want to. Bananas are wonderful, tasty, certainly in Asia and the Philippines, Thailand, they're very, very sweet. But with that comes the caveat that sweet is not always good. Of course, fruit contains a lot of fructose, which is fruit sugar. Now, you may not want that if you're borderline diabetic, or you know, the old school idea of 5 a day fruit and vegetables is out the window now. The modern science has moved on from that now. A lot of people are going towards the low carb, keto, carnivore, whole foods type of diets. And depending on your stance, you're either going to want to eat vegetables because they grow on the ground, and what's wrong with them? But there's a lot of vegetables now because of mass farming, mass production. A lot of these vegetables are sucking in fertilizers, growth hormone, etc., and pesticides from the earth because of the mass farming techniques. That's not good for you. In the main, if you want to eat vegetables, fine. If you're carnivore, fine. Protein, if you're working out in the gym, fine. This particular video is about options. My previous video was pretty much chocolate protein shake, fine, with eggs. We're going to make variations now, whereby you can learn different things, try them out for yourself and see what you like. Now, in any protein shake, the key ingredients are eggs. In my protein shakes, I usually put 3 eggs. Now, if you want to be, if I wanted to be sarcastic and people say, I haven't got time to make my own protein shakes, you can put a little bit of milk in a glass, put an egg in it and drink it. That takes less time than it is shaking a protein shake drink. But you probably don't want to do that. But it's possible. So this I haven't got time to do it is absolute nonsense. You do have time to do it. You just got to wean yourself off. If you've had protein powder already, you have to wean yourself off the marketing. It's not about the big fat man or woman on the front. That's unattainable, and probably they're taking a load of PEDs anyway. The problem with a lot of these protein shakes, because of the artificial flavors and sweeteners and emulsifiers that they put in them, you got to wean yourself off of that. It's like having sugar in your tea or coffee. It takes a while to wean yourself off of that. These aren't natural substances. The vast majority of protein shakes that you buy, the powders, the emulsifiers, give that impression of thick and creamy. It says no sugar, but that doesn't mean it hasn't got artificial sugars in it. And a lot of artificial sugars are terrible for your body. The fillers that are in these protein shakes, to pack it out, to bulk out the product, because it's all about cutting the product to make it as much profit as possible. Interesting. If you're a follower of Formula One, you'll see that some of the team, one team in particular, I won't mention their name, blazoned across the Formula One car is Whey Protein. Now that type of sponsorship costs millions and millions of dollars a year. How can they afford it? Well, they can afford it just like Red Bull can afford to do all of these sports events and sponsoring, because there's massive amount of profit involved in it. So, surprise, surprise, probably one of the most glamorous sports on the planet, Formula One, and there we go, Whey Protein. Well, no kidding, Sherlock. You know, there's an example of how much money is involved in protein shakes, irrespective of the fact that you're probably consuming a lot of rubbish. Now, back to the case in point. Milk. Depending on how runny or smooth you want your protein shake, it's going to basically dictate how much milk you use. I never measure it. I just, it is what it is. Eggs. Well, I always put 3 eggs in my protein shakes, so that if you use 3 eggs, you're going to get approximately 40 grams of protein in your protein drink. If you notice, I'm not particularly taking much care, but what I am doing is I'm scraping out the shells here, because that white stuff is collagen. And if you're a bodybuilder, you might bulk up and then shred. You might be somebody that's going to the gym to lose weight. You might not be even going to the gym. You might just be jogging around to lose weight. If you lose weight, you're going to get a lot of loose skin, which is very difficult to get rid of unless it's surgically removed. But what will help is supple skin. So this collagen, which is there, which beauty products will charge you thousands and thousands for, this is collagen. It's the membrane between the egg white and the egg shell and the inside, and you scrape it out. Looks a little bit like white jelly, and that's pure collagen. It's, Mother Nature gave you that, you may as well use it. So we've just got milk, and a little bit of milk, say 200 milliliters of milk, and 3 eggs. You can add a little bit of water if you want. I did so in my previous recipe. Now, if you are keto or carnivore, you've got to ensure that you have enough magnesium and potassium in your diet, and sodium. Now, normally most people take magnesium in the form of magnesium glycinate, which they take at bedtime because it aids restful sleep, and REM, rapid eye movement sleep, which is fine. So in which case, if you're taking that such kind of supplement in the evening, about 1 hour before you go to bed, you want to ensure that throughout the day you're getting enough sodium and you're getting enough potassium. Now, what's really nice, if you think about salty caramel as a drink, which is very popular, if you've got cocoa powder, you can put cocoa powder in there, and then be careful, because both are salty. You can put about 1 tablespoon of Himalayan pink salt or Celtic sea salt, 1 tablespoon of salt in that drink along with the cocoa powder, and 1 tablespoon of potassium. Okay, if you watch my previous video, you'll know where I get this, and it's considerably cheaper than anywhere else you're going to be able to buy it. So, but be careful, because both sodium, the Himalayan salt and the potassium are both salty, so don't overdo it. But certainly you get that salty chocolate kind of flavour in your protein drink, which is great. What you don't want is, and you're weaning yourself off these protein shakes that are cookies and cream, double chocolate fudge. What are you getting at? Are you trying to get fit, or are you going to get hooked like a kid in a candy store. And that's what these protein manufacturers want you to be. They want the emulsifiers to give you that lovely smooth, thick kind of impression and texture on the tongue, because it makes it more palatable, and it gives you a false impression that this is thick, so it must be really good quality. It's not. It's just gum and emulsifiers. It's just junk. The artificial flavors, the cookies and cream, the bananas, the vanillas, it's all artificial. It's not real vanilla pods or vanilla essence. You know, you can do that yourself and a lot more healthy. So that's the one which is kind of like salty chocolate. Now, all we got here so far is milk and 3 eggs. Now, what in the Philippines, this McCormick, you can buy these flavors in places like SM. I found them quite easily, and we got vanilla, banana, and this one which is really nice, which is mocha. Yeah, and a few drops in there along with your milk and your eggs. What you can also do, which has its benefits, Google it, turmeric. You can put turmeric in your protein drinks. And my favourites, my two go-to favourites for protein drinks that aren't chocolate with peanut butter, is cinnamon and nutmeg. Because eggs, milk, cinnamon, nutmeg, bananas, that sort of thing, they're like a marriage is made in heaven. So we have got, well, what am I going to make today? Okay, we've got milk and we've got 3 eggs. So let's put in a little bit of cinnamon. There you go. No point in measuring it. I used to be a chef. Chefs never measure anything. Just go by rule of thumbs. Now, cinnamon. What's going to go nice with cinnamon? Well, believe it or not, banana essence and vanilla essence and mocha will also go well. Make your mind up whether you're going to put some peanut butter in it. That gives it a lot thicker texture and adds additional protein. Up to you. Great with, great without. Higher protein content with additional peanut butter, and it's thicker. Likewise, if you put a banana in it, it's thicker. But why are you doing this? You're doing this because you want protein in your body. You're not doing it because you want to drink the most amazing drink on the planet. This is a means to an end. You want the protein. You don't just want to swallow a raw egg or just a raw egg and milk. You want something a little bit more palatable. So there's just milk, egg and cinnamon in there. You can put peanut butter in there if you want. What I'm going to do for today, I'm going to put some mocha in it. Because this is nice actually. It smells delicious. And a good maybe 10 drops. These aren't very expensive. These flavourings, these essences in SM cost between 50 and 70 peso for the bottle. There's not much. You put a few drops in there, works wonders. You can just simply blend that up then, and now you can drink that as is. There it is there. You can drink this as is. When you're doing this for the first time, have a little play around. Don't be scared. Have a little play around like this. Take a little bit as a sample. See, that's 3 eggs, milk and a little bit of cinnamon. Fine, it's nice. You might think, oh, I want something a little bit thicker than that. Okay, like I said before, if you add peanut butter, always add peanut butter when the blade is moving. If you just stick the peanut butter in, it's going to fall straight to the bottom and it will bypass the blades and it won't mix very well. So there's the peanut butter. You think, oh, okay, well, what does that taste like with the peanut butter? Obviously, it's got more protein in it. So we've got cinnamon, milk, eggs. We've got protein powder. We've got peanut butter. That's nice. You can definitely taste the peanut in that. Now, the texture is quite runny. It's fine. What are you doing it for? Because you want protein in it. And that has got approximately 40 grams of protein in it. Between 35 and 40 grams of protein. If you want a smoother texture, thicker, add a banana. Bananas in Asia are amazing, but be aware of the fact that bananas contain fructose. They're not ideal for everybody. They taste amazing. I'm fine. I don't mind a little bit of fructose, you know, life's too short and everything. And it's a wonderful way to get that thicker, smoother palate. There we go. That's a lot smoother. And bananas are amazing in anything. And they're not too expensive in the Philippines. Bananas now, unlike their traditional sort of Asian Filipino type banana, I forget what they're called, I do apologise. The vast majority of bananas now are called Cavendish bananas. And it was a style of banana that is being popularised, and they've become sweeter and sweeter and sweeter over the years. Since about the 1930s, I think bananas have come 3 or 4 times more sweet than they ever were. It applies to a lot of fruit, because people are demanding sweeter and sweeter and sweeter type fruits. The problem with that is, as fruits become more sweet, they contain more fructose than they ever did. Surprise, surprise, doesn't really help people with sugar addictions, or they are diabetic or borderline diabetic. And it's one of the issues we have nowadays with modern farming techniques and consumer demand. So here we have a wonderful all-natural protein drink, which is essentially mocha, banana, 3 eggs and milk with a little bit of cinnamon in there. Don't forget, you can use nutmeg. You can add some turmeric in. You don't need to go down the mocha route. You've got vanilla essence and you've got banana as well, which you can put in with the milk. Have an experiment just to change things up. Don't be overcritical if you say, oh, I haven't got bananas, so it's a little bit runny. Why are you drinking a protein drink? Does it have to be thick and smooth? Well, it might be nice, but surely the aim is to get an efficient amount of natural protein into your body, and it tastes okay. Like I said, as an alternative to just eating raw eggs or drinking raw eggs with a little bit of milk. Let's make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more palatable. If you can smooth it up with bananas, fine. If you can change it up a little bit with nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla essence, mocha, you take your pick, then do it. Generally stick to non-acidic type fruits if you're adding fruit. Don't go sticking strawberries and apples and stuff like that. They don't blend. Stick with the basics like mango or banana, but be careful because these fruits are very, very high in fructose. Banana's probably your best bet for blending. Have a go. These are lovely. They contain the perfect amount of protein with 3 eggs. You don't need any more. Eggs are relatively cheap in Asia. They certainly are in the Philippines. And it's whole foods. And it doesn't contain any of the crap that you're getting from the vast majority of protein powders. It's just a complete, that the protein powders are essentially a complete waste of money unless you're wealthy enough to sustain them over a longer period of time. And even then, don't trust anything that's got a label on it. You're better off doing something yourself. You know what's going in your body. Enjoy.